Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are testing a whole bunch of viral makeup. I think for a whole face of random products, it looks pretty good. There are things that I would change and we'll get into that in the video. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe because I do upload every other day. And that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to see a full face of viral makeup, including some products from this month's IPSY and BOXYCHARM that I didn't get to play with yet, stay tuned. All right, jumping in, I already prepped my skin with the Glow Recipe Strawberry BHA Pore Smooth Blur Drops. Definitely a mouthful. Still really enjoying this. My only note is whenever I open it to use it, like you put it on your hand, the flat part is on the bottom of the packaging. So I feel like I have to try and close it with the product on my fingers or put it down and it drips on my desk. So don't love that, but other than that, still really liking this. I am going to start. You already saw the intro, so we're doing like viral makeup, summer, easy glam, nice and simple. So I'm going to start with the JLo Beauty That Star Filter Complexion Booster. This one is in the shade Rose Gold, and I've been playing around with this for about 2 weeks now, and I am really enjoying it. Where's my mirror? So I'm just going to take one pump on the sides of my face. And the way that she uses this is she actually goes in with her fingers and sort of blends it out over the highest points of the face, under the brow, of course, over the lip, center of the forehead, and down the nose. And as you can see, it's very blinding and there's a lot there. So I'm going to keep kind of like blending it in. But this is meant, you know, in the way I've been using it, sort of under everything else, so that when I go in with like a sheer layer of concealer, instead of like a whole lot, I get that lit from within glow. Now I don't want this everywhere, but I do want it on the high points. This is just a damp sponge, and I'm just gonna press that in. This is just making sure that there's no product buildup, and that it's a nice thin layer everywhere. Now I have two concealers. I have used them both and I've been really liking them both. First is the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. The other is the Merit Beauty Complexion Minimalist Perfect Complexion Stick in the shade Dune. This is RN13, or RN3, I'm sorry. So I think, I think I'm gonna go with the Merit everywhere but the under eye and the Natasha Denona on the under eye. The last no makeup video, like summer glam I did, I really liked how everything turned out, but I felt like I don't love the way the Natasha Denona looked in the center of the forehead, because it wasn't quite brightening enough, and I didn't love the way the Merit looked on my under eyes, because my under eyes need some extra love. So I'm going to kind of play around with it that way. Yeah, this is just such a nice color for me. And you can even still see that glow coming on the high points of the face, even under that concealer. And we'll still be going in with like a glowy blush and a highlighter. All right, Natasha Denona is in place. So we're just going to grab that Merit stick and just add a tiny bit of extra coverage just in the places where I have redness, which is really just the T-zone. I already kind of got the cheek area, so I do like to just take a little bit of this Merit cream through the jaw area. I don't need a lot, but I do want to just correct and cancel some of the discoloration there. Tiny bit of a hydrating pressed setting powder. This one's by Jouer. I have loved this powder for years, and I feel like it's one of those things that nobody talks about. I know this brand, I haven't seen them in Sephora in a while, but I did a side-by-side swatch of them one time when I was in Sephora between this and the Charlotte Tilbury powder, and this one's actually softer and more finely milled. Now I do have both of those, but I'm running very low of the Charlotte. I recently pulled this out like a week or two ago and forgot how much I liked it. And I just took the new Beauty For Real powder brush just to powder the face. I have been loving these new brushes as well. All right, we're going to continue on. I'm going to throw on a quick brow. I used these in an upcoming video, or in a previous video, And then it went viral on TikTok, so I'm going to use it again. This is the new Milk Makeup Dutch Cush Brow Shadow Stick and the Cush Brow Lamination Gel. And I'm going to use the two of these. I saw some people didn't like this, and I think they were just overusing the product. I go in with a very small amount. You'll see I have a decent shape to my brow, and I'm not upset with like where the hairs normally sit. But you can see little areas where it's sparse. So I like to just take this and gently fill in on the brow. And you'll see it already looks much, fuller and darker. Just like that. And then I'm going to cap it so I don't draw on myself, because I feel like I do that every time I use any type of pencil. And then I just like to comb through it to soften it a little and make sure that I have, pulled up whatever product we don't want. And because this is a powder and we haven't locked it in yet, I do like to just kind of trace the shape with my finger in case I got it anywhere I didn't want it. And I know it looks a little dark now, but we haven't even finished doing it yet. Going in with the brow gel. And this is actually going to pick up a little bit more of this product. So the brow has a spoolie and a comb side. So I start with the spoolie side, and I just comb the product into my brows. Then I switch to the comb side, and I shape. And that's it. Super easy brow. Now, it does look a little dark because I have no blush on my face, no bronzer, no eyes. So that will make it a little bit less, heavy looking in comparison. All right, next, we actually have a new launch. This is from Jones Road Beauty. They sent over their new bronzer brush. The Everything brush is what they call it. And the new gel bronzer. They sent me light and medium. I'm going to try light, because if medium is too dark, then I'm screwed. If light is too light, I can always add medium on top. It is a liquid bronzer, which I think is really cool. So I did already clean this brush. I do remind you every time I do any type of brush review, wash your brushes. You never know how they come from the factory. I'm going to grab my clear palette just to see the consistency. All right away, it looks very thin, and it's super sheer. So rubbing this in, it kind of rubs, you can see the stripe of where it is. So I think the colors are going to be forgiving. For me, I'm still going to go in with light and just build it up, but I could definitely get away with medium as well. So on that brush, I'm just going to kind of pat the product into the bristles just to make sure that I have an even saturation. I love how I say even saturation and then I see all the product in one area of the brush. I'm just going to move it into the brush more. And then I'm going to stipple this over the cheeks. That's a really pretty tone. Now this type of brush is built for small circular motions or stippling. So I'm going to stipple it on and then switch to my sponge and just kind of press it in. Yeah, that's really pretty. It's a little bit of a warm red undertone. So I think for the summer it's going to be great. You can already see how well that sculpts the skin. I'm going to take a tiny bit more just around the temple. Yeah, that's very pretty. All right, a little more for the other side. I think the brush is the perfect shape for this kind of product, because it's allowing me to press at my cheekbone and up, so it's not going to drag the face down, and I'll get a good application on where I want it. And I love that I can still see that J-Lo glow kind of shining through everything. So right away I can say I can build this up and sort of make it even more built up. So I'm going to add a little bit more on this side. But I also feel like I could definitely get away with the medium tone if I wanted to, which is good. Because normally, and you guys know this, I would rather go in with a darker shade and just use less of it versus having to build up 19 layers. At least that's how I feel on bronzer or contour. With eyeshadow, I'm the opposite. I'd rather build it up slowly. But that is beautiful. It's giving me this serum-y glow to the cheek. All right, before I finish powdering the face, I'm going to grab, this is the Merit Beauty Fox Cream Bronzer, which has lately been my favorite blush. And I'm just going to stipple some of that higher on the cheeks than I did the bronzer, but all the way around the temple. And I'm actually going to take that same brush and just press it in. All right, so I definitely don't love the brush for the cream. I like it more for that liquid that we used before. So I'm going to switch to a different brush I like for creams. This is it's a complexion brush from Beauty For Real, and I'm going to use that instead to just press this out. Much better. Yeah, this is really nice for the liquids, but for a cream, you'll notice this brush is just a little bit wider and it's a little bit less dense, so it's not pressing as much. It's sort of like, this is a true brush. This is like a brush and a sponge had a baby. And then just once over with the sponge. All right, going back to that powder, I'm just gonna lock everything in place. This is a very lightly tinted translucent powder. So it's not really gonna cover up anything we did, but it is just gonna lock it down. This powder is also infused with hyaluronic acid, so it is gonna help with hydration. So if you do find yourself as someone who gets super greasy, that extra hyaluronic will keep your skin a little bit more hydrated so you get less greasy. You're not gonna not get greasy, but less. All right, and moving on to the two products from my IPSY BOXYCHARMs that I still haven't used yet. I have the Half-Caked Double Dipper Cheek and the Makiage eyeshadow palette, and we're gonna use both of those today. I'm gonna start with the blush palette and I'm gonna use the fluffy powder brush. I'm gonna take a little bit of that blush and just add a little more to the cheek. I normally like a smaller, more precise brush for blush, but in the summer, I really just say screw it and throw blush everywhere. And then the highlighter, I'm just gonna press over the cheek, and then back to the blush brush just to diffuse everything together. I feel really glowy, and I like the way these products are layering together. For eye, we're gonna use that Il Makiage palette. Nice and easy. I wanna go for something kind of light-ish. So I'm gonna start with this fluffy brush, and I'm gonna take this shade right here. I can never tell which shade, like, when it has the colors listed on the back, which one's which. So I'm going to take the shimmer shade in the palette on a fluffy brush. Normally I would take this on a dense brush to get like a foiled eye. Today I don't want it to be foiled. I want it to just be like a wash of color. And I'm going to pat this and pull this over the lid. This formula is still super shimmery. If you go in with this on a brush like this, you can make it super sparkly shimmery. If you go in with a more dense brush or your finger, it'll be a little more metallic. All right, and once that's built up, I'm gonna go into a dome-shaped brush with the warm-toned brown, and I'm gonna go really on the tip of this brush and just go in the crease. Switching to the first brush on that same brown, I'm just going to sort of blend that brown shade up a little higher. And then going into the darkest brown shade, I'm going to take a very small amount just on the outer corner of the eye and in the outer part of the crease. All right, I'm just going to keep layering up that brown until it's where I want it. Curl my lashes, throw on some mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, I am back. I think my lashes look like shit just because it was one of those days. But we're going to jump into lip. This is the BBXLE Desert Sand, I think it's a lip oil. Desert Sand Lip Plumping Oil. Packaging's really cute. This came in PR. I don't know who it's from. I've never heard of this brand. I don't know how they got my address, but I'm still excited to try it. Definitely has that, like, Too Faced lip plumper smell. I feel like peach lip colors never look good on me, but I don't dislike this one. That smell, though, is very, like, clinical lip plumper smell. With the color on the lips, I feel like my cheeks look dead. So I'm actually going to go into a little bit more blush. Do I want to go, what color? I think I want to go into more of the cream blush. I think that's going to be what I need. All right, that's better. I definitely like how everything turned out. Again, ignore my lashes, because whatever this eye does, it always looks much better than this eye, which just feels wimpy. Like this eye, this is not a lash. My eyes flare and my lashes look good. And then this eye's like, me too. Anyway, I think I definitely like the colors in the palette. I think they went on really nice. It's a nice, soft, simple, neutral eyeshadow, very easy to work with. I think the blushes, obviously, are both beautiful. I think the cream bronzer really did a nice job underneath. I want to play around with the darker color, though, because I feel like I might like that a little bit more. But I think for the most part, I'm happy with how everything kind of turned in. It does look... Ooh, that is... I love when I turn to the side and I see something that I didn't blend. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below of what you think, as always, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!